Okay, sit yourself on your lift and then come into a good cross leg position. Just have a little wriggle about. Just make sure that you feel evenly placed. Bring your hand onto your knees and then elevate the heart area up towards the ceiling, drawing the back chest, so the trapezius muscle around the shoulder blades, draw that down towards the floor. Just take some deep inhalations and deep exhalations. Listen to the breath. Fill your lungs on both sides evenly, from the bottom of the lungs to the top of the lungs. Just listen to the sound of the breath as it enters and as it exits. As you inhale, as you lift the chest, observe whether those two actions are conducive, whether the lifting of the chest makes the chest really tight, whether it makes the chest kind of unable to expand. Maybe lifting the heart area too strongly means that you can't breathe into the back chest. Maybe it means you can't breathe into the armpit chest. So find that equilibrium of extension and space to breathe. So giving ourselves space to breathe is really essential, because without the breath, we have no energy. So look down at the floor, look at something that's not moving. And then bring your hands into Namaste. Give yourself space in the armpit chest by lengthening from the armpits into the elbows. Allow the breath to expand into the armpit chest, keeping the shoulders down away from your ears. And then with an exhalation, allow your eyes to gently close. Listen to the sound of the breath as it enters and as it exits. Just fill in the lungs from the bottom to the top. Emptying the lungs from the top to the bottom. Draw your focus into the breath, into the physical breath, into the movement of the breath. Focus on allowing the body to accommodate the breath. Gently, with an exhalation, draw your chin down to meet your chest. Keep lifting the chest up to meet your chin. Just feel the stretch of the back of the neck. And then focus on generating a genuine, heartfelt sense of gratitude for something or someone or somewhere. Hold on to that feeling of abundance in your heart area as you release your hands down to the floor, and then just rest the backs of your hands onto the knees, palms facing upwards, and as you raise your head, just allow your eyes to softly open. So take a deep inhalation in through the nose, elevating the heart area upwards, and with an exhalation, turn to the right side, drawing the abdomen across. Just try and get your belly button to point at that right knee and beyond it. Just focus on giving the armpit chest space. So sometimes when we come into this pose, parsvottanasana, sometimes the upper arms kind of crowd the armpit chest. So bend your elbows out to the side a little. Give yourself space in the rib cage and really turn. And then come back to the center. Hold onto your knees, lift up into the chest, elevating the heart area upwards. Take a deep inhalation, giving you space in the shoulder blade region and in the armpit chest, and then turn to the left. Using your out breath to turn more deeply. And then come back to the center. Just lift up into the heart area. But feel that you can give yourself this space in the armpit chest, but also space in the back chest to breathe into. Because we often really work with emphasis, that's the word I was looking for, emphasis on the front of the body. And the back of the body kind of serves the front of the body. But can you make the front and the back work symbiotically? Just come off your lift. Just sit back on your heels. And then just allow your legs to rest into the floor. Just wriggle into the heels so that you can draw the outer buttock flesh right into the inner heel, rolling the inner heels consciously outwards away from each other. So the big toes are touching, and then try and roll the inner heels away from each other. So the little toe side feels securely down. Lift up into the chest, elevating the heart area, drawing the shoulder blades down and in, but giving yourself that space and capacity to inhale, maintaining the connection between the seat bones and the heels. Gently come forwards into Adho Mukha Svanasana. So come forward slowly, just observing how you maintain the lift of the chest. It's easy to just slam yourself into position. So see if you can accommodate the pose as you reach forwards, try and keep the seat bones down on the heels, and then finally bring the forehead down.
And then again, try and breathe into the back chest. Just listen to the sound of the breath. Listen to the sound of the breath as it enters and as it exits, drawing the inhalation in through the nose and out through the nose. Focusing on how it feels different to breathe. Maybe the abdomen feels less able to expand in this pose. So how does that change your breath? Maybe it becomes difficult to take full deep inhalations. So can you accommodate that with the forward extension? Just come up onto your knees, turn your toes under, and then be right up on the tiptoes. Have the palms of the hands pressing down into the floor, the heels of the hands stretching into the palms of the hands. Have bent knees initially, and then lift the seat bones up towards the ceiling. And then begin to straighten the legs, tightening the kneecaps. Lifting the frontal thigh muscles, just aim for a feeling of even action. At first, probably doesn't feel very even at all. So just focus on the breath. Focus on deep inhalations, deep exhalations, and work to make the effort of the pose even throughout the body. So one leg mimics another, finding that internal balance. The legs and the arms work with even effort. The legs and the torso and the arms work with even effort. Working with non-resistant breaths. Finding that internal balance of the pose. Starting from the feet and the hands and working up into the hips. And then step your feet forwards. Come up into a standing position. Try not to bang your head. Come up into a standing position. And then have some blocks for your hands and bring your feet as wide apart as the mat. Half uttanasana. So with the toes turning in and the outside edge of the feet in line with the edge of the mat. Just lift the heart area upwards, raise your arms. Have your arms wide so that you're presenting the torso to the skies. Aiming to breathe into the back chest as much as the front. And then bring the palms to face the front, hinge at the hips, keep the heart area lifted, keep the head lifted, keep the arms lifted as you come forwards. Hinging at the hips, keeping the arms lifted. And your torso is halfway and parallel to the floor. Bring the blocks underneath your shoulders and then grow into the pose with the fingertips on the blocks. Just like in dog down, observe
whether there is internal balance in your action. Lift the seat bones up towards the ceiling, project the chin and the chest forwards. Driving the front chest forwards. Lifting the thigh muscles up towards the tops of the legs, turning the fronts of the thighs inwards so that the backs of the thighs broaden outwards so that you can lift up into the seat bones a little more. Project the chin and the chest forwards. If you can go down a little lower, then do. If you've got a bad back, stay on the top, on the kind of a higher lift. But as you come down, go back to that feeling of ascertaining evenness. If you can reach the floor, then do. Just stay at whichever level is right for you. Just breathing deep, even breaths. If you can reach around the backs of your heels, keeping the heart area lifted, keeping the back as straight as you can, keeping the head lifted. Come forwards, drawing the heart area down to the floor, bringing the torso between the two legs. So breathing evenly, working for even action. So try to make the breath non-resistant. And then release. Hands underneath your shoulders. Bring your hands into your hips and then come up into a standing position and then come into Tadasana. Inner edge of the feet together. Big toes touching, heels touching. And then lift up into the chest. So lifting the heart area upwards. But feeling that you can still breathe into the back chest. Stretch your left arm, grab a belt, bring the belt around just rest the belt on the right shoulder. And then stretch your left arm out in front. As you stretch it out in front, try not to disturb the shoulders. Keep the two shoulders level with each other here. Turn the palm and the upper arm all the way out, trying to get the palm to reach up to the ceiling, the palm to face the ceiling. Keep reaching way behind you, and then bend the elbow at the last minute, assist that hand up towards the neck. And then reach up with the right arm, virasana arm, extending up to the ceiling. And then reach down, see if you can take hold with the hands, or if you can't, you can just get hold of the belt. So fingertips connecting or using your belt. And then just come back into Tadasana. Feeling that you can breathe evenly, that the left side doesn't feel constricted. The left lungs feel free to expand. Have a tug of war between the two elbows, pulling the bottom elbow to the floor, the top elbow to the ceiling. Just feeling even breath. As you state, you can creep your hands a little closer together. then raising the top arm. Just allowing the bottom arm just to release. And then just stretch your arms out, turning the palms to face outwards. Lift the heart area up to the ceiling. And then swap the belt over to the other shoulder, the left shoulder. And then reach forwards with the right hand, really spreading into the palm. Again, just keeping these two shoulders in line with each other. So the tendency is to stretch forwards with the shoulder. Keep the shoulder level and then stretch from the shoulder into the arm. Turn the palm all the way out, reach all the way behind you, trying to get the palm to face up to the ceiling as you do so. And then again, assist that hand up towards the neck. And then reach upwards with the left hand. Just stretch out of the previous pose. And then reach down. Can you get hold? So one side is always a bit stiffer than the other. This is definitely my stiffer side. So you can start with the belt and then just creep the hands a little closer together using the belt. And then maybe you can just transfer that to your hands. So just starting off with the belt, if you're nearly there, but not quite, is a good way just to make that connection. Breathe even. Having a tug of war between the elbows. Just breathing into that right lung. So feeling that you can breathe without restriction on that right side. Just keep creeping the hands towards each other bit by bit, trying not to poke the head forwards or back, just looking forwards. Just feeling that stretch within the biceps. And then gently release the top arm. And then really gently release the bottom arm, and then stretch the fingers, spread the palms. Turn the palms all the way out and just feel all of that energy in the arms, in the shoulders. And then stretch your hands forwards, interlock your fingers, turn the palms all the way out, and then raise your arms for baddangulyasana. Squeezing the outer elbows in, lifting the heart area, drawing the shoulder blades in, but without restricting the breath. Try and breathe into the full upper lungs. Rising the breath, the energy of the breath from the bottom of the lungs up to the top. Like when a water butt fills up from the bottom to the top and it empties from the top to the bottom. The water touches the sides of the water butt like it should touch the sides of the ribs, of the lungs. Breathing in and out through the nose if you can. Just release your arms, swap the interlock of the fingers, turn the palms all the way out. And then raise your arms over your head. Again, just maintaining that consciousness of even breath. But don't forget about your tadasana. Keep the legs really firm. Keep the fronts of the thighs turning inwards. Tuck in the tailbone in. Lifting from the abdomen to the diaphragm. to the collarbone, to the chin, keeping the shoulders away from the ears. And then gently release. Just bring your feet hip width apart, turn your toes in, and then raise your arms up. Hook the thumbs into the crease of the elbows, wrap your fingers around your elbows. If you've got a bad back, you're just going to come forward halfway with your elbows on the top of a table, top or back of a chair. Otherwise, just see if you can come all the way down and then hang down in uttanasana. Again, just working to consciously engage with the feeling of the pose from the inside. Are both legs working evenly, for example? Does the breath remain free, or does it feel different? So the in-breath is food for the brain. It's also food for the body, but in a different form than the food that we eat. It fuels the body by drawing oxygen into the blood. And that oxygen is pumped around the body and feeds every living cell with the energy that it needs to perform optimally. And then release your hands down to the floor. Come back into half uttanasana. Bring your hands onto your shins if you can't reach the floor. Just breathing even deep inhalations, even exhalations, filling the lungs evenly without resistance. And then bring your hands into hips and then step the feet forwards. Come up into a standing position. Come up into a standing position. Feet into Tadasana. Lift up into the chest. Breathing in through the nose and out through the nose. Bring your arms out nice and wide in towards the chest, and then step or jump the feet apart. Turn your right toes in, so your left toes in steeply, and the right leg and foot all the way out. And then just pick up that back heel and turn it all the way out, so that the hips now feel like they're level. Keep this leg turning inwards, that back kneecap really firm. Lift up into the chest. And then keeping that back leg really firm. Come forwards, hinging at the hips. Keep the heart area lifting, keep the head lifted as you come down. And then reach the floor. If you can't reach the floor, then just grab a couple of blocks for your hands. So at this stage, we can correct the hips. Maybe that back leg hip is higher up than the front leg hip. So turn that back leg inwards, the front of the thigh, turn it inwards more, so that the back of the thigh broadens outwards. Be on fingertips and extend the chin and the chest forwards. Just breathing evenly and deeply. Breathing into the back chest and into the side ribs.
And then keep lifting the heart area, keep lifting the head, and then start to walk your hands towards the back leg. Drawing the body along that front leg. Try not to drop the head, or try not to get your head down to the shin until the chest is on the shin. Keep turning the legs inwards, the fronts of the thighs inwards. Keep breathing evenly. Okay, bring the hands back to the front. Just reset in the middle, and then bend the front knee, and then step forward, and then come up into Tadasana, and then lift up into the chest. Just feel the energy that you release as you come out of the standing forward bend. Bring your arms out nice and wide in towards your chest, and then step or jump the feet apart. Turn the right toes in and the left leg and foot all the way out, and then pick up that back heel and turn it outwards. Have the heels in line with each other if you can. Your hands on your hips. Turn the fronts of the thighs inwards. Lift up into the heart area. And then keeping the heart area lifted, keeping the head lifted. Come forwards, keeping the hips level. Breathing evenly. And then keep reaching the heart area upwards as you reach down and find the floor with your hands. So continuing to accommodate the breath. So full, deep inhalations, full, deep exhalations. Working for evenness of action. Often we do a lot of work on focusing on that back leg, but what happens with the front leg? So can you work evenly? Keeping the heart area lifted, keeping the head lifted. Try not to drop your head too soon, Ruth. Keep the heart area driving forwards. Because as soon as you drop your head, then you round the shoulders and you lose that front extension. Feel inside that you are working with genuine evenness. Okay, come forwards, bring the hands forwards. Just reset, extension of the spine, and then bend the front leg. Step forwards, come up into Tadasana. Lift up into the chest. Lift up into the heart area. Okay, and then just come down onto your knees and have your hands shoulder width apart. Step back a little, turn your toes under, have your feet hip width apart, and then come up into dog down, just easing yourself into the pose. Ensuring that you can breathe into non-resistant lungs. Because that is the most energizing breath, where the lungs can expand evenly and deeply, in the front chest, in the side of the chest, at the back of the chest. So we often forget about the back of the chest. Allowing the body to accommodate the breath brings great clarity in the brain. Okay, come down onto your knees. Just sit back on your heels. Sit back on your heels and observe your energy. Observe the lightness on the inside. Just listen to the breath. Again, just accommodating the breath. And then keeping the seat bones in contact with the heels, come forward, stretching into our forward bending Adho Mukha Virasana. So just observing how the pose feels different in the breath and accommodating that difference. And then bring your hands underneath your shoulders and then just push yourself up into a seated position. Just grab yourself a couple of blocks to sit on for virasana. So have the knees together, have the feet either side of the blocks, and then just sit yourself down. So grab the calf flesh, draw it away from the back of the knee, rolling it out to the side as you sit down, and just give yourself some lift underneath the seat bone. Some people don't need the lift underneath the seat bone. Some people can just sit directly on the floor between the knees. So if that's the case, then you can just sit directly on the floor. Otherwise, have enough blocks underneath to accommodate the legs. So lift up into the chest, get hold of the inner heels, and then just gently roll them away from the hips so that you are really drawing some consciousness into the little toe side of the foot. Just lift up into the heart area and then let go of the heels, but try and keep those inner heels rolling away. Just rest your hands on your thighs for a moment with the palms facing upwards. Just take deep inhalations, deep exhalations. We're going to do a little bhramari pranayama. So we've been working very much in the chest cavity today. So when we do our bhramari, I want you to see if you can draw the resonance of the sound down into the chest, into the side ribs, into the back of the chest.
So if you are too close in with your arms like this, then everything gets trapped. So just let your elbows rest out to the side. So have the fingers pointed towards each other, palms facing upwards, thumbs stretching towards the front. So you got space in the armpits. So we do several rounds of bhramari. So just working with your own breath cycle. So your breath cycle might be different to mine. That's fine. Just work with your own breath cycle. So remember, it's just normal inhalations and hummed exhalations until the lungs are empty. And focus specifically on the resonance in the chest. So close your eyes. That helps to focus. Take a normal inhalation, a normal exhalation, another normal inhalation, and then we will begin. Just one more. And then bring the breath back to a normal rhythm. Open your eyes. And then stretch your arms out in front. Interlock the fingers. Turn the palms of the hands all the way out. Squeeze in the outer elbows in. And then raise your arms. Keeping the shoulders away from your ears. Just retaining the resonance of the pose. Lift up into the arms. Take a deep inhalation. And then with an exhalation, turn to the right side, drawing your abdomen across your ribs and your shoulders. Come back to the center, take a deep inhalation, and with the exhalation, turn to the left. And then come back to the center. Just release your arms, swap the interlock of the fingers, so the other index finger is on the top of the stack, and then lengthen your arms away. Raise your arms up and over your head, extending your arms upwards. Take a deep inhalation and then turn to the right. And then come back to the center. Raise your arms and then turn to the left. And then gently release your arms down, and then just release your hands, and then just observe all of the energy in the shoulders and in the arms. And then just stretch your legs, come up onto your knees, and then just stretch your legs out in front. So just stretch your legs out and let your legs recover, just coming into baddangulyasana. Just pushing the legs away, lifting up into the chest, pulling the toes towards the kneecaps, just to really reset the legs. Continue in that non-resistant breath. And then when your legs have recovered, just come down onto your back and come into supta baddangulyasana. So sometimes supta baddangulyasana is a good alternative to an inversion, but it also helps to, we've done lots of work in the shoulders, it just allows the hips to just ease open. You can always put blocks underneath your thighs if it feels too strong in your hips, but otherwise just let the hips roll apart. Again, continuing to breathe evenly. If your head rolls back, then get yourself a folded blanket and place it underneath your head and neck. Just feel that you can really open the armpit chest. With the breath, you can breathe into the back chest. And then when you're ready, just draw your knees together, stretch your legs out along the mat. Just before you rest, just come up onto your elbows. Just make sure that you're in a really good straight line right down the center of your mat.
And then guide yourself down. Have a blanket underneath your head. Close your eyes and allow the feet to fall apart. Just continuing to breathe normally but expansively, allowing the arms and legs to completely release into the floor. Unhooking the muscles of the arms and the legs. And observing that feeling of lightness that comes from allowing the limbs to become heavy. That lightness radiating out from the bones, into the muscles, into the organs, into the flesh and the skin. Just basking in that feeling of energetic lightness, drawing it down into the toes, into the fingers, into the top of the head. Using the breath to distribute that feeling of lightness. Okay, when you're ready, just wiggle your toes, wiggle your fingers. And then draw your knees in toward your chest. Just have a little rock from side to side, from top to bottom. Just a gentle massage on the spine. And then gently roll over onto your right side. Just a moment, just releasing into the floor. And then straighten out the top leg, come back up into a seated position. Just come up into cross legs with the hands in the masti. Just a final spinal lift, drawing your breath in through your nose down into the abdomen. Conscious of the energy that you have released through your practice this morning, that good, positive, healthy flow of clean energy that the extensions and the forward bends and the twists and the reclining poses bring to the body and to the mind.
And then draw your chin down to meet your chest. Spend a moment to acknowledge the positive energy you have created inside. And then radiate some of that positive energy out into the world. And then release the backs of your hands down toward your knees, palms facing upwards, and as you raise your head, allow your eyes to softly open and focus to softly come back. Thank you very much. So hopefully you feel as though you have lifted your energy, giving yourself a good boost of positive energy for your day. So thank you very much for joining me.